Bhagwan Shri Yogi Ramsuratkumar ki Jai. Sarvam Yogi Ramsuratkumara Pranamastu. For nearly 1.5 years, we have been chanting the powerful name of Bhagwan, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, in his powerful shrine, day after day after day, without finding excuses to stay away. By His grace, we have been able to do it, and we know it is no small grace. How can we ever thank Bhagwan sufficiently for all that we receive from Him? Our poorly inadequate thanks would serve no purpose. Instead, we should keep multiplying the Nama and offer them as pushpas, as lotuses at the feet of Bhagwan, more and more. We have been seeing glimpses of this glory of Bhagwan's Nama in varied circumstances in the lives of devotees. This I have been doing under the paradigm, one Leela a day will keep the Maya away. Our Bhagwan had declared, even a little movement of this beggar's hand, or anything connected with this beggar that one finds interesting, if people should recall to memory, that would be ambrosia, nectar. And I tell you, you would get more benefit, more blessings than a 1,000-year hard tapas in the forest. Such is the promise, blessing from our Bhagwan. He also added, whenever he said that, this is Satyam. Great masters like our Bhagwan, they already live in the house of truth. The absolute, the ultimate truth. And whatever they say comes straight from God. So let's recall, let's go through the experience of one of the devotees who wrote to express it recently. We all know how many people have been affected by this corona and what havoc it has caused, how devastating it's been to many people at many levels. Dr. Thangamariyappan who originally belongs to Kovilpatti, was working at a time in Aruppukkottai when he got introduced to Bhagwan, and he never failed to go to the temple there to do some seva, to chant the name. He and his wife and the child, they would go there whenever the time permitted. He looked upon Bhagwan Shri Yogi Ramsuratkumar as his guru. His little son, who was with him whenever he visited the temple, would often say, "Father, see Yogi Tata, Grandpa Yogi is here, he's sitting here, he's sitting next to me. Father, he's talking to me." Of course, Dr. Thangamariyappan could never get to see that, but then he believed that Bhagwan did appear to his son. The children have such purity of heart. Bhagwan is easily accessible to them. That apart, they could hardly go there, and soon he shifted to Chennai, and after that it became very infrequent, his visits to the temple. Sometimes he would remember Bhagwan, chant his name, but that was all about it. Bhagwan went into a corner and he became very busy with his life. It was in 2019 that he shifted. Now 4 months back, the end of March, we know how Corona was playing its games. Suddenly he developed temperature, a very high temperature, 104. He also started to cough, felt very tired, and all the symptoms. And then the doctor confirmed that it was corona. And he insisted that he be admitted immediately in the hospital. Now Dr. Thangamariyappan thought he was there alone with his wife and son to get admitted in the hospital. He did not know how long he had to stay and how the treatment would go about. So he decided to shift back to his native place, Kovilpatti. And there he got admitted into the hospital. He went through all the tests. Whenever he coughed, there used to be some blood. But then, after he got admitted into the hospital there, to his horror, he found every time he coughed, the blood that came out would fill up a teacup. Just imagine. Put yourself in that position and see how he would have felt. And of course, one day, it became too many, and every time, it was a teacup full. He was alarmed. The doctor said, this vitamin E, the ability to clot, the blood had lost its ability to clot. And that's why this pouring of blood every time when he coughed hard. Now when it got too much for him, he decided, he was very sure, he was not going to get up the next day morning, that the end was nearing. There was so much loss of blood. He was unable to bear the pain. It was a horrid condition, and somehow he felt he was going to die, that he wouldn't be alive the next day morning. He went to bed, and of course, he was chanting Bhagwan's Nama desperately. He chanted and fell asleep. Soon he had a dream where Bhagwan appeared in his brilliant form. And what was more, Bhagwan commanded, "Get up, man, get up." It was a command from Bhagwan. He could hear it clearly. He could also see the effulgent form of Bhagwan. What was more, Bhagwan came near the bed, took his hand in his, and said, "Go to sleep." Now he had difficulty making out whether he was already sleeping or he was going to sleep, in what state of consciousness he was. But then he felt he fell asleep. And about 3 o'clock he woke up again, and he found the effulgent form of Bhagwan still holding his hand and saying, "Go to sleep." Now this time he saw Bhagwan as a huge flame on the top of a hill. Here, of course, it was the tower of a temple. On the peak of the tower of the temple, he saw Bhagwan in the form of a flame. So when he heard Bhagwan saying, "Go to sleep," again he went back to sleep. This is how he remembers all that. And then when he woke up at 5 o'clock, he had cough. Now he was terrified. He knew what was happening all along. The teacups filled with his own blood. Now he was very scared, and he coughed. He couldn't help coughing, but to his great wonder and surprise, there was not a drop of blood that came out. He knew immediately that everything that happened in the night was no vision or dream. It was all true. Truly, Bhagwan had come and blessed him. Now his wonder was, he did not have so much devotion towards Bhagwan, nor did he keep chanting his name. Yet, even for the little devotion that he had kept in the corner of his mind, in the corner of his heart, seems to have attracted Bhagwan's grace. How is this possible? He was overwhelmed thinking about Bhagwan's grace and kindness. And then he felt it was now morning. He wanted to listen to some songs on Bhagwan. He switched on his phone. And the first song that came on the phone was "How many crores of meritorious deeds have I done to deserve to have found my Guru?" a guru like this? The whole song expressed whatever he was unable to express but felt intensely. That was a surprise again for him. And then after that, there was another program, and he switched it on. And there came the story of a devotee where Bhagwan told the devotee wanted to commit suicide. He swallowed something and was very sure that he would be dead the next day morning. And yet he found himself alive. And he ran. He knew who was behind it. And when he ran to the master who did this miracle, when this great master, our Bhagwan, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, said, even if you want to die, you cannot do it without my permission. How apt it is. Now, Dr. Thangamarippan knew what was involved. He had taken refuge at the feet of Bhagwan, even though he had very little devotion towards Bhagwan and very little chanting. Yet, the Guru did not forget him. When he started to chant desperately, calling out to Bhagwan, he turned up and gave shelter, revived the spirit of life in him. And Dr. Thangamarippan says, how this, he says he's still wondering how it is possible. He was not particularly devoted or anything. He was very busy with his life. That Bhagwan should run to his help, just as he has promised in his sayings. Such is the kindness, glory of the grace of Bhagwan, the glory of his name, the glory of his grace. It is truly a wonder, because sometimes some people desperately go on chanting and chanting and chanting. And despite all that, things get delayed. Sometimes people hardly make any effort, but then the grace is invoked boundlessly. We do not know what calculations are involved in this, and how, when we chant the name desperately, like a lifeline, holding on to it, like a drowning man would hold on to the lifeline, it works fast, because we put our entire being into chanting. The quantity doesn't matter there, only the quality. So, this Bhagwan, at the very thought of him, his kindness, the eyes fill up for Dr. Thangamarippan, that he says, my life, as I lead now, it is his bhiksha. But for him, I wouldn't be alive today. Now this Bhagwan is there for everyone. He is here right in front of us with his raised hand in benediction. And he is standing wakefully. He's not even sitting and blessing. The standing pose shows that he is always alert and ready to help to the call of the devotees. So let's appeal to his generosity, this compassion, and submit our today's prayer. Jai Yogi Ramsuratkumar.